Hello everyone, it's me, FelNE, and today I'm going to break down the Blaze Escalation and all the things you might encounter as you rise to the top. In the future, I will do a breakdown for Torgadoro, but for now we'll only focus on the rounds that lead up to the Behemoth, which also means I'll be talking about the 10 through 50 escalation rather than the 1 through 13. To start, just like the Shock Escalation, there are 5 rounds you must complete in order to finish this journey. Rounds 1 and 3 will be single behemoth hunts, and rounds 2 and 4 will be dual behemoth hunts. The 5th and final round will be the escalation boss Torgadoro. Every round except for round 2 and 5 will have a modifier that might change how you take on these behemoths. These modifiers are Firewall, Gruk, Splitting Lava, Blaze Smollusk, Weak Spot, Desperation, Blaze Bombers, Danger Zones, and Sticks and Sacrifice. On top of that, new amp buffs are also available, which include Go Time, Healing Stream, Defensive Revive, Hot Shot, Lady Luck's Barrage, and Bonds of Conflict. Something that's also nice to know is when you're in between rounds, you might encounter a Gruk, which you can slay, giving you a small buff for your next attack. Moving on to the behemoths, there is a very good chance you will encounter a flameborne behemoth. These flameborne variants will have powerful new moves that will change the way you hunt them, so let's break down all the new moves you will encounter. First up, Nashor's variant will have 4 major differences. It will have a new tailspin that will quickly spin 2 full circles before ending. Fortunately, this move does have a fairly long windup, giving you plenty of time to dodge or get out of its range. Another move Flameborne Nashor will have is an explosive pounce, which could be used multiple times in a row. The best way to know when this attack is about to be used is when the behemoth quickly takes a step back before making its first leap. As for avoiding it, it's quite similar to how you would avoid the tail slams from the non-variant Enraged Nashor. This behemoth apparently has been learning from Hellion and Nezaga because it can now use the move Body Slam. Avoiding this move is the same, so if you're on the side of Nashor, get ready to dodge this attack if you're close by. As for the last major change to this behemoth is when it enters its enraged state and starts to repeatedly stomp the ground. During these stomps, fireballs will rain down from above Nashor, potentially hitting slayers nearby. Luckily, these fireballs are fairly easy to avoid, so long as you're paying attention to where they will land. Quillshot's variant is quite different from your normal Quillshot. Its quills are ticking time bombs that can explode if it hits a slayer. Unfortunately for the behemoth, this move is like a double-edged sword since you can send these quills back at Quillshot, making this little trick pretty handy whenever this behemoth uses its new dig move to keep its distance and launch quills from afar. The Porcupine will also add an additional attack to both its backhand and ground pound, forcing you to possibly dodge twice. And the last thing about this Flameborne behemoth is when it's about to fire its quills around itself, its body can release an explosive blast that will damage players that are too close. If you'd rather play it safe, I suggest stepping away from the behemoth during this attack. If you come across Flameborne Raisa, its radiant orbs and beams have been replaced with fireballs and flame-based beams. The orbs and beams have completely different patterns compared to a normal Raisa, but like its non-variant counterpart, these attacks will require you to either outmaneuver or dodge them. To make things even more difficult, when the behemoth becomes enraged, fireballs can spawn in during or after attacks. Personally, I usually listen for fireballs spawning, but you can always look up at Raisa to check for any. The next move is once the behemoth does a slam, Raisa can follow up with a tail attack that can hit those close by. I suggest to always be prepared for this since you will have to possibly dodge twice if you're nearby Raisa. And the final move that has been changed to Raisa's moveset is the move I like to call Last Light. Rather than teleporting you in a dome and firing a barrage of radiant beams and orbs, the behemoth will instead launch massive fireballs at the players. And since each ball will try to predict your movements, make sure you are frequently changing directions and dodging when one of them comes too close. If you're still struggling with Raisa, one handy little trick is to bring the Pangar Lantern. The reason why is because its hold ability can hit Raisa in the air, and with enough frost damage will slow the behemoth down. If you decide to use Aether Tonics as well, this lantern will tear Raisa apart, making it easily my most suggested lantern for this escalation, not just for Raisa, but when you're up against dual behemoths and the other flameborne behemoths. Alternatively, if you rather focus on survival, Koshai's lantern is always very handy thanks to its lifesteal tap ability. One last tip and reminder is to make sure you are claiming those power boosts. They will make this escalation much easier to complete later down the road, so keep running escalations and you'll build that experience in no time. Well, that should be most of the information you will need to know to conquer this escalation. For those who want to support me, use this creator code when you make your next epic purchase. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in Dauntless.